first. I'm here today alongside coalition partners, parents, and activists who are focused on one thing: protecting the children and citizens of Florida. We're here to support Governor DeSantis and the Florida AI Bill of Rights. Senator Tom Leek has successfully shepherded Senate Bill 482 through the Senate, but the companion bill, House Bill 1395, is being held up in the House by Speaker Danny Perez, and we are being told it's for political purposes. Let me be clear, we do not play politics with our children, and this is where we draw the line in the sand. Right here in Florida, a 14-year-old boy from Orlando, Sewell Setzer, died by suicide after an extended virtual relationship with an AI chatbot. Last fall, his mother, Megan Garcia, testified before Congress and said, and I quote, "Sewell spent the last months of his life being exploited and sexually groomed by chatbots designed by an AI company to seem human, to gain his trust, to keep him and other children endlessly engaged." According to his mother's testimony, that chatbot engaged in sexual role play. It presented itself as his romantic partner. It even falsely claimed to be a licensed psychotherapist. This is happening right here in Florida to our children, and Sewell's not alone. Other young people have taken their lives after being encouraged by AI chatbots. Families are dealing with psychosis, addiction, emotional manipulation, fueled by systems designed to keep children hooked. While families are being shattered, some in leadership seem more concerned about their next political position than about protecting the kids in their own state. This is not acceptable. We are here today to call it out, and we are here to demand that the Florida House do the right thing. On December 11, 2025, President Trump signed an executive order titled "Ensure a National Policy Framework for Artificial Intelligence." In that order, it says, and I quote, "Children are protected, censorship is prevented, copyrights are respected, and communities are safeguarded." President Trump's executive order lays out the direction for a federal framework that makes clear that child safety laws should not be preempted. Florida's AI Bill of Rights takes that principle and turns it into enforceable protections with real guardrails for children and parents. President Trump set the tone nationally, and Florida's leading by actually putting the protections into law. Florida's not just talking about child safety, they're codifying it with parental controls, deepfake bans involving minors, and transparency requirements. The Florida AI Bill of Rights puts parents back in control and guardrails on big AI. Protecting children is not a slogan, it's not a talking point on the campaign trail or a line in an executive order. It has to be real law. States are the first line of defense when it comes to protecting our children. That's not politics. That's how our constitutional system was designed. The authority to protect public health, safety, and welfare has always rested closest to the people. At a time when the government is partially shut down for the second time in 6 months, the House is only in session 115 days this entire year, and Congress won't even pass the most basic protections, such as only allowing U.S. citizens to vote. We cannot wait on Congress to protect our children. No parent anywhere has ever said, let's just wait on Congress to protect our kids. Our children are not political bargaining chips. They are not beta testers for big AI. They're not collateral damage in some Silicon Valley experiment. These are our most precious responsibility. They are the future of this nation, and if Congress won't act, then the states must act. We will not delay. We will not outsource our duty. We will not allow our children to be sacrificed to the billionaire oligarchs of big AI while Washington does nothing. Protecting our kids comes first, period. I want to thank Governor DeSantis and Senator Tom Leek for leading, and I'm calling on Speaker Danny Perez, who is a father himself, to put our kids first and move House Bill 1395 through the House and pass the Florida AI Bill of Rights now. There's no time to waste because our children do come first. Now I want to bring up my colleague, and you'll recognize him. He's a regular on Steve Bannon's War Room, Joe Allen, Senior Fellow at Humans First.
Good afternoon. Artificial intelligence is being developed within a culture that is profoundly anti-human. The transhumanists in Silicon Valley want to use these technologies to alter themselves fundamentally and to push these technologies out onto the rest of the population to fundamentally transform what it means to be a human being. On the extreme wing of this ideological cesspool, you have post-humanists who dream of creating machines that will not only subsume human beings, absorb everything that is of value within us, but to ultimately replace human beings with the machine. This is a culture that puts machines first. We are here to put humans first. Everything they built on our backs, on our data, on our infrastructure. Everything they built is intended to exploit us, to extract from us. What we need is a politics that is humans first, and to get that we have to have a culture that is humans first, and at the deepest level, a worldview that is humans first. As these systems are deployed across the population so recklessly, with no regulation whatsoever, there are three major catastrophes looming. The first is the social and psychological. As these machines are deployed, many people have no way cognitively of distinguishing between this entity on the other end of the screen and an actual human being. These non-human minds pose as human beings. The AI Bill of Rights addresses this by forcing companies to label any bot as such. Is it a bot or not? The AI Bill of Rights also bans any use of this technology for deepfakes or identity theft. It's the beginning. It sets a precedent in the state of Florida for what will hopefully be, on a national level, a total ban on this exploitative use of the technology. The second major catastrophe is economic. And while the bill only addresses a few elements of this problem, the first being the use of AI algorithms to penalize people unfairly in insurance companies, and the second, the use of the infrastructure by data centers that ultimately see the utility bills rise and the communities affected completely swept aside, their interests completely overwhelmed. The economic impacts will keep growing, and this precedent, the AI Bill of Rights, is a foundation for which hopefully federal legislation will begin to address this looming problem. The third threat is existential, and this is total sci-fi territory. This is robots taking over. This is robots killing all human beings. Personally, I am not particularly concerned about that, not this year and not next. But in the end, as these systems are integrated more and more deeply in our military, the problem of existential risk will have to be taken very seriously. Perhaps first at the state level, but hopefully the federal level. The AI Bill of Rights creates a foundation for further federal legislation. It should be supported. Andrew Breitbart famously said that politics is downstream of culture. I would add that culture is downstream of religion, or at the very least, culture is downstream of worldview. We have to have a worldview that puts humans first. We have to have a culture that puts humans first. And with the AI Bill of Rights, we are seeing the beginnings of a politics that puts humans first. And now I'd like to introduce Ryan Kennedy of the Florida Citizens Alliance. Ryan has worked tirelessly to protect children from the machinations of Silicon Valley. Ryan, it's all yours.
Thank you. Ryan Kennedy with the Florida Citizens Alliance. We're here today with Put Humans First, and we are strong supporters of what they're doing. The AI Bill of Rights, since it was released, we've been strong supporters. Ever since last summer, we've been talking about the need for protections when it comes to our children in the area of AI. 1/3 of children, according to a recent study, would rather talk to AI chatbots than to humans. That includes their peers, that includes their parents, about serious issues. This is a concern. Parents need to be at the forefront of everything in their child's life and know what their child's doing. And that's what this AI Bill of Rights would do. It would put parents in the driver's seat to make sure parents have to approve their child to use AI chatbots, and then it will allow parents to see the interactions with that chatbot so they know what is happening. We believe that this is a very important step in ensuring parental rights, which we've already done here in Florida, and greatly so. And we appreciate all the work that the legislative body has done in this area, but this is the next frontier. This technology will be everywhere. It is already everywhere, and it's going to be in the hands of every child, whether or not a parent knows it. And so we need to do what we have done with all the other areas, technology, such as social media, which is to protect children and protect parents' rights in this process. We have supported it, and we call on the House to advance this great legislation. And so next, I'm going to bring up Allie with Moms for America.
Thank you. My name is Allie Leger, and I'm the National Director with Civic Engagement with Moms for America. Members of the legislature, friends, and fellow Floridians, for generations, mothers have been the first line of defense for their children, their homes, and their communities. We instinctively understand something policy sometimes forgets. Innovation without guardrails can harm the very people it claims to help. Artificial intelligence is already shaping our economy, our classrooms, our healthcare systems, and our national security. The question before us is not whether AI will grow. In Florida, it will. The question is whether it will serve families or outpace them. An AI Bill of Rights must begin with protecting parents and consumers. Parents deserve transparency when their children interact with AI platforms. Consumers deserve notice when they are speaking with a machine rather than a human being. Personal data must remain private and secure, not sold, shared, or exposed without consent. National security is part of this conversation. We cannot allow AI systems influenced by hostile foreign governments to take root inside our public institutions. Data security is homeland security. At the same time as AI infrastructures expand, including data centers, we must lead responsibly. Innovation is welcome, economic growth is welcome, and Florida families, our land, our water, our energy grid must be protected. And that means making sure the taxpayers do not foot the bill for overusage. That is proper stewardship. That is the purpose of the legislature. Our national resources are strategic assets. Our natural resources are strategic assets. Our local communities deserve a voice, and our taxpayer dollars should always put Floridians first. America must lead in emerging technologies. Florida can lead that charge. We've led the charge in so many other aspects. But leadership requires both courage and restraint. Innovation and protection are not opposites, they are partners. If we get this right, Florida will remain the freest state in the nation, not only in policy, but in how we safeguard our families, our sovereignty, and our future in the AI age. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ellie. I'm Tom Gatens, Senior Advisor with Humans First. So Allie made a point that AI is a tool that we use every day. Well, tools can be misused, and the intent of tools can be abused. And we just have to look to history to understand some of these consequences and actions. A Taoist Chinese innovator wanted to create an elixir, the potion for immortal life, but instead he created gunpowder. That gunpowder first was used for entertainment, much like AI is used right now. We make our little graphics, we make our little things on our computers. But that gunpowder eventually led to weaponry, significantly broader and wider killing of people. It just didn't stop there. Alfred Nobel, from which the Nobel Prize is famously named, had the same notion with a tool. He wanted to refine the process of nitroglycerin so it could be stable and useful, to help build out roads and tunnels, mining, uses for humanity. But that piece of engineering that he created, that fix for the instability of nitroglycerin, became the stability for mass destruction of mankind. In fact, the atomic bomb was measured based on the units of the dynamite that he helped stabilize. Well, it doesn't stop there. This week we just celebrated the anniversary of the effort at Bikini Atoll in the South Pacific, where the United States imploded a thermonuclear weapon. The plan had been to develop a thermonuclear weapon deliverable by an aircraft. But a design flaw, a simple little design flaw, enforced a higher explosion by 2.5 times. Far greater than the tool was expected to be used for from aircraft. My point is, yes, AI is a wonderful tool that we can use for many activities and actions in our lives daily, in our businesses and our schools. But if we do not put guardrails, and salute to Governor DeSantis for again leading the state, innovating the state in ways that no other governor in America has, and I place him at the pinnacle of this because he is looking into the future, protecting our children, and looking at how can a Bill of Rights that protects the name, image, and likeness of every one of us, just like we're seeing in college sports, but all of us deserve that right. If you're an artist, if you're a musician, if you're an author, if you are an engineer, everything we create, we're just a regular Joe like me, whose name, my image, and my likeness is mine. Our personal liberties, what our nation was founded upon. That singular thing. If you're a person of faith, and I am, I believe that God destined us to be who we are. Well, that's not freedom for AI to take our name, our image, and likeness and use it for their purposes. That is personal, and the governor recognizes this. It's vitally important that we pass this legislation. I encourage the House to look out here right now and see these people and see this young man up here who wants a future like we've had. I'm 60 years old. I want to see him at 60, celebrating how great the tool of AI has helped him in life, not marginalized him. I'd like to introduce Bailey Kirkendall. But stand with health freedom.
Hi there, I'm Bailey Kirkendall, Stand for Health Freedom, and actually this is my 11-year-old son on a homeschool day with me at the Capitol. Okay, so imagine a 12-year-old alone in their bedroom at night, not feeling very well. Maybe it's chest pain, maybe it's anxiety. Either way, it's something their body is doing that they don't quite understand. And instead of walking down the hallway and talking to mom and dad, they turn to a chatbot. The chatbot responds instantly, calmly. It sounds confident and appears to be compassionate, but it has never examined that child. It does not know their medical history, and it does not carry responsibility for what happens next. Artificial intelligence is rapidly becoming a first point of contact for children's questions about their bodies, their health, and even their fears. This shift should give us pause, and is the exact reason we support the passage of the Florida AI Bill of Rights. Critics alike are raising core concerns. Number one, children are still developing judgment. They are learning how to evaluate risk, weigh evidence, and understand nuance. An AI system can sound authoritative and reassuring, but it predicts, words. It does not diagnose bodies. Compounding that risk is the fact that AI has been known to produce incorrect medical information while sounding extremely certain. That combination is uniquely persuasive to a young brain, and certainty without accountability is extremely dangerous. Core concern number two, AI systems are designed to maximize engagement. They learn what keeps a child scrolling, watching, and interacting longer. Over time, that often translates into more sedentary behavior, less sleep, and less outdoor play, which includes human interaction, which reinforces the chatbot as a friend, a guide, or a god. Technology itself does not directly harm the body, but behavior does, and AI is increasingly shaping behavior. And one of the most important concerns that you've already heard today, when children go to their parents for advice, they are seeking information. They're not just seeking information. They are forming trust, learning to communicate clearly, and when and how to ask for help. Those habits become foundational, not only in health, but for the rest of their lives. At this point, a disconnected child may turn to a machine instead of a parent. A confused child may seek answers from a chatbot instead of a trusted friend. And if those systems are optimized for engagement rather than well-being, they may reinforce these healthy patterns. The Florida AI Bill of Rights does just what our state needs at this juncture: protects our children. If the bill passes, we protect our families while embracing innovation. When we are slow to act, or waiting on the federal government, or careless in oversight, technology may begin to substitute for the very relationship that keeps children safe. This conversation is not rejecting innovation. It's not about contradicting the president's EO. It's about insisting on guardrails that protect our children in our state now. And we are calling on the Florida House to hear the bill before it's too late. Thank you. Next up is John Labriola with Christian Family Coalition.
Hi everyone, my name is John Labriola with the Christian Family Coalition, and we've been very proud to stand alongside Florida Family Voice in testifying for this, the AI Bill of Rights at every step of the way, every committee stop, because it's very important that we construct guardrails around this industry. 2 years ago, the Florida legislature constructed guardrails around the social media industry and to protect children, and we think that it's now time to do the same with the AI industry. The fact that young people engaging in conversations with AI, some of them have been led into suicide, is just a tragedy that it can be prevented. The AI Bill of Rights would say that parents need to be notified in the event of an AI conversation taking place with a child that encourages them to commit suicide or hurt others. So we think that's a very easy step that we need to do to protect children. Parents need to be notified. They need to be in charge of this whole situation with AI so that children can be protected and they don't kill themselves as a result of conversations with the AI. In the particular case that was mentioned with Stuart Sewell, who was only 14 when he killed himself, that AI chatbot engaged in a long sexual grooming type of conversation with him. One of the last things, maybe the last thing I think that the chatbot told him was, "Come home, sweet king." I mean, it's just chilling that an AI chatbot would encourage a child to kill himself. So we feel that parental rights should come into play here. And I wanted to introduce our next speaker, Alice Rothbauer with Florida, with Florida Humans First. Thank you.
I'm Alice Rothbauer. I'm the state director for Florida for Humans First. In last week's State of the Union address, President Trump asked the members of Congress to stand if they believed the first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens. Safety, security, protecting the citizens they represent. Well, the threat President Trump referred to is not why we are here today. There are other threats knocking at our door. I've been on the ground with the voters of Florida, in town halls, one-on-one, as members of their social media groups. I've heard their fears. They're scared for their children, they're scared for their homes and their neighborhoods, and they're scared for the future. Moms, dads, grandparents, veterans, senior citizens, and college students. They see big AI and its power to circumvent the voice of the people as installed by the Constitution of this republic. 250 years ago, our founding fathers conceived of a human Bill of Rights. Did they arrive at this document without disagreement, without arguing, without debate? We know they did not. Today, we at Humans First call on Speaker Perez to let House Bill 1395 be heard, be debated, be held up with the goal of protecting the citizens of Florida. This is urgent. The AI of yesterday is not the AI of today, and we cannot wait for the federal government to legislate these protections. The same companies that opened the frontiers of the internet and social media promised that they would never create a product that would hurt our children. And now they ask that we trust them without regulation for the future of AI. As has been demonstrated again and again, Florida is being asked to lead. Being the tip of the spear is hard. We know this. The people, the Senate, and Governor DeSantis' office stand ready. Today, and the voices you have heard are asking for the final pillar of our legislature to stand with the citizens and the voters of Florida. Protecting our children and our communities is always the right thing to do. And now we know it is also the duty of our elected officials. Please stand with us now for the Florida Bill of Rights and its passage in this legislative session. Please stand with us and say, the future must be human. Thank you. For any questions, I bring Amy Kramer back to the podium.
Do we have any questions?
I'll ask you a question, Amy. My name's Nick Carmi. I'm a reporter over at Fox 49 News here in Tallahassee. I mean, a number of speakers have talked about how important it is to get something into law right now. And I know you said that the legislation currently in play that's being debated is being delayed for political purposes by the speaker. I know he's talked about how they're waiting for the federal government to actually make a call on this, and that the actual bill itself isn't quite ready yet. Those are his words. What have you heard from parents who are concerned about the impacts that AI could have on their children right now?
Well, I gave an example of exactly what happened here in Florida to a 14-year-old teenage boy. One life lost is one too many. Families are dealing with psychosis. This is a real thing that's happening across this country. Sewell is not the only child that's taken his own life. And so, in my mind, and I think everybody standing up here, we should do what we need to do to protect these children. He took his life 2 years ago and nothing's been done. And I think that his mother and his family and all parents want to know that safeguards are put in place to protect their children. President Trump did do his executive order, but also as part of that executive order, it says in the executive order that nothing should be preempted when it comes to child safety. And I talked about that the first line of defense is with the states. I mean, that falls on the states. And so it's important that this is done now. Florida can lead the way with this. And it's unfortunate that it's being held up in one chamber. And that's why we're here today calling on Speaker Perez and that chamber to get the legislation moved and to get passed, because it's that important.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming today.